It has finally happened. Nebraska has officially been ranked a top 25 team in America per the AP poll. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my instant reaction. What does this mean for the Huskers going forward? Where are we at? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? And everything else you need to know, along with some huge breaking news that was just released. Penn State has officially fired James Franklin. We'll talk about what this means for Matt Rhule, whether or not he will leave Nebraska for the Nittany Lions. We'll have an honest conversation. And then my reaction to all the Big Ten games from yesterday and their implications toward the Big Red. So really quick, hey, if you're having a good Sunday, I know I am, hit that like button. This is a loaded video. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? For daily content talking Huskers, for breaking news just like this, it's no brainer, takes 2 seconds. Join this family. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. Well, I told you guys yesterday I expected Nebraska to be ranked in the AP poll come today. I think we would be around 24 or 25. And that's exactly what has happened. The AP poll has listed us as the 25th best team in America, just behind Cincinnati, which I think is a little bit ludicrous, right? We should be ahead of Cincinnati given we beat them in Kansas City, but I don't care about all that. I just care that we are ranked, that we have been given that respect. The national media, they're starting to pick up a little bit on Nebraska, given the fact that we are 5-1. We're 1 game away from bowl eligibility. We're on a winning streak right now. And right off the bat, I want to address this. I know I'm going to get this comment and people will say, well, Nebraska, we don't deserve to be ranked. We barely beat Cincinnati. We barely beat Michigan State, and that's not a good team. We barely beat Maryland yesterday, and we don't know how good of a team they truly are. They're probably only going to win 6 or 7 games when it's all said and done. So, yes, does Nebraska have a quality win maybe besides Cincinnati? We don't. And we have had a lot of these sloppy, ugly games. But I don't care about all of that. I don't care about any of that. You can make the argument that Nebraska doesn't deserve to be ranked. It doesn't matter. You can make the argument that you don't want Nebraska to be ranked because you don't want the spotlight on us that, in the past we've crumbled being ranked. We lost to Illinois last year when we were ranked. We lost to Colorado in 2019 when we were ranked. We lost to Indiana last year when we were ranked by the coaches poll. Time and time again, Nebraska, for whatever reason, when we start to get this respect nationally, we crumble. And I understand all that. But the reason why I'm happy about Nebraska being ranked right now is because I truly have expectations. I've expected this since February of this year. I think Nebraska can win 9 or 10 games this season. Okay. I think Nebraska, with the way that our schedule is looking, with how easy it has been, and it's going to get easier going forward with Penn State crumbling. We'll talk about that with USC, even with Northwestern, with UCLA. There is a real possibility Nebraska could win out. It's a very real possibility. So if you, in your heart of hearts, if you still believe Nebraska can win 9 games or 10 games, it's important for the spotlight to get on us as quick as possible. Okay. Like Rex Ryan said famously, the best place to be is when expectations are high. It's always going to be like that. If you, in your heart of hearts, believe that one day Nebraska is going to be in the mix for the Big Ten title, or the national championship or the playoffs, expectations will be high at that very moment. So they got to get used to it right now because critics will always think a certain type of way about Nebraska, right? There will always be haters. There will always be doubters. And it's important for Nebraska to embrace those people and say, you know what? I get your hating, I get your doubting, but we're going to still show up on Saturdays, beat you by 20, 30 points, and show we're one of the best teams in America. That's why it's important to be ranked right now. So all the talk about being under the radar and, we don't want the spotlight on us, we don't want anybody talking about us. Come on, this is Nebraska. We are a blue blood program. We should have people talking about us. We should be relevant. And these guys should play up to expectations regardless of what that ranking is. Whether it's 25, 10, number 1, whether we're not ranked at all, we should still play to the exact same level and energy. So I'm proud that this team is ranked. Do we deserve it? Maybe not. Maybe not. But we're 5-1. The record speaks for itself. And we go into a hostile environment with all the expectations, with all the eyes on us on Friday night versus Minnesota. That's a rivalry game. It's important for this team to show up regardless of ranking and get it done. Nebraska ranked 25th in America. Let me know your thoughts down below. I am ecstatic about it. I'm very happy. Now, again, we probably should be higher than Cincinnati. We probably should be higher than even Texas or Memphis. It is what it is. Again, we can prove that over time. We're only going into week 7. We can prove that over time. This is a good start. Beat Minnesota, beat Northwestern, beat USC. Everything will take care of itself and we will rise through the rankings quicker than you know it. And then my reaction to the rest of it. Honestly, I think Indiana should be the number 2 team in America after beating Oregon yesterday. Ole Miss still at number 5. That's pretty ludicrous. They almost lost to Washington State. Other than that, Missouri's still at number 16. They barely fell after losing to Alabama. USF went up quite a bit after beating North Texas. USC was not ranked last week, and they went up to number 20. So again, that's probably going to be a ranked battle. But USC is probably going to lose to Notre Dame next week, though. So we'll see if they're actually ranked when they come to Lincoln or not. So, okay, that's my reaction to the AP poll. Definitely a good thing for the Huskers. Let's get into the news. It's official. And I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought they were going to stick with James Franklin. Penn State has fired James Franklin effective immediately. He is no longer the head coach of the Nittany Lions. Now, there are obviously massive ripple effects, massive implications, not only for Nebraska, but pretty much every single team in the country. Okay, when it comes to the transfer portal, when it comes to recruiting, Nebraska is absolutely going to try to peer recruit some of the guys who will probably decommit from Penn State in these next couple hours. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is one of the biggest head coach firings we've seen in a very long time. But the reason why it's important for Nebraska fans, why we need to have this conversation, is because right now, if you Google Matt Rhule, if you look on Twitter, Instagram, any social media known to man, you look at, the top candidates to be the next head coach of Penn State, Matt Rhule is in that top 3. He's in the top 5. He's in the top 10. Every single publication right now is listing Matt Rhule to potentially become the next head coach of Penn State. And that's a real possibility. And we talked about this last week, and I got crucified on YouTube. People were saying, Matt Rhule's never going to leave Nebraska. Matt Rhule loves Nebraska. He loves Lincoln. You're not wrong. You're not wrong that we believe that Matt Rhule likes it here, that he doesn't want to leave Nebraska. I don't think he wants to leave the Huskers. I've said time and time again that Matt Rhule is not going to leave this program for any other team besides Penn State. So yes, it's true. He loves Nebraska. And yes, he's having success here right now. But it's a little bit of a unique opportunity when you have the chance to go back home, to go to Penn State, which you played at as a walk-on. You love that program. You grew up around that program. You rooted for that program as a kid. Matt Rhule has constantly had praise about Penn State ever since he's been in Nebraska. He's been asked, hey, are you going to leave for Penn State? And he doesn't really have an answer for that. He has a lot of ties there. So yes, Nebraska is his home right now, but you can never take away his true home. His true home is Pennsylvania. Okay, his true home, his true team is Penn State. Okay, he bleeds that color. He bleeds blue in his heart. So it is going to be objectively hard for Matt Rhule. If he were given the opportunity to go to Penn State, it would be very hard for him to say no. That brings us to our conversation, though. Will Penn State give him an offer? Okay, because Penn State knows who he is. Matt Rhule's having a lot of success in Nebraska. He's rebuilding us. There is a real chance where Penn State does offer him. Now, do I think those odds are incredibly high? Maybe not. Because, and I got this comment last time I talked about this, why would Penn State fire James Franklin, who can never win the big game, and then hire Matt Rhule, another coach who also cannot win big games? Matt Rhule has a record against ranked teams, I believe, of 2-25. It's one of the worst in America. So say what you want about Matt Rhule. He's a good coach, a good developer, he's a good leader of men. He has a lot of ties to Penn State, but he can't win big games. So that's definitely a point. But I do think Penn State would be interested in Matt Rhule. I definitely think that at least give him an interview. They'd be stupid not to give him an interview. And there's a chance they give an offer. In your heart of hearts, do you think if Penn State, Matt Rhule's alma mater, that he grew up around, he rooted for that team as a kid, in your heart of hearts, do you think Matt Rhule would say no to that? Would you say no to that if you had the exact same opportunity? You probably wouldn't. So we should be concerned about this. Am I saying it's guaranteed Matt Rhule's going to leave Penn State? No. Okay, that would be foolish. That'd be foolish. He loves it in Nebraska. Don't get that twisted. He's not going to leave Nebraska for any other program, but this is a unique opportunity. And the last thing I'll mention is I know I'm going to get this comment. People will compare Scott, let's say Scott Frost was just like this. Scott Frost went back to his alma mater and he failed. Well, the difference between Matt Rhule and Scott Frost is Scott Frost is actually a really bad coach. Okay, Scott Frost is going to fail no matter what. Matt Rhule is actually a good coach. So that's the difference. Don't compare Scott Frost and Matt Rhule. Okay. So I do believe that, Matt Rhule, if Penn State does come calling, he will probably accept that offer. Let's just be very honest, because again, that's a unique opportunity, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him if he does so. Okay, I would do the exact same thing. I really would in his shoes. So we need to have that conversation right now. Again, you can think whatever you want to think. You can think that Matt Rhule's going to stay in Nebraska. You could be right. But the facts are the facts. The facts are that right now, Matt Rhule is being named as one of the biggest candidates when it comes to Penn State. He obviously loves Penn State to this very day. That's his home. it's a real chance that he could leave. But Penn State has to offer him a real offer. Matt Rhule has to continue to find success in Nebraska. If you think Matt Rhule is only going to win 7 or 8 games this year, you're in luck. Matt Rhule will stay. If you think Matt Rhule is going to make the playoffs this season or win 10 games, that might be bad for us, right? So it's a double-edged sword. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, I know I'm going to get comments disagreeing with me. I know. That's the nature of the game. Again, it's bold to come out here and say that I think Matt Rhule could leave with the opportunities on the table. And Nebraska's a really good opportunity. Don't get me wrong. Nebraska's a top-tier program. We're not as good as Penn State when it comes to money. Penn State has more money than us. They have more boosters than us. They have better NIL. They have a higher upside than us consistently. So we're a good destination, but we're not as good as Penn State. So if you're trying to go up the ladder, Penn State's a little bit higher on the ladder than Nebraska objectively. Objectively, they are as of right now. So just want to have that conversation. I know I'm going to get people to disagree with me. It is what it is, but we should definitely be concerned given the news. All right, let's go to my instant reaction of every single Big Ten game this Saturday and their implications toward Nebraska going forward. Let's talk about, of course, the one we were just discussing, Penn State losing to Northwestern. We play both of these teams. We play Northwestern not this week, but next week after Minnesota. And I know a lot of people were freaking out. They're like, oh my goodness, we might lose to Northwestern now. I'm not freaking out at all. Again, this is still a team that's very flawed, particularly on defense. They don't have a great quarterback. They do have some nice running backs in there, but again, they just lack a lot of top-end talent. And we're playing at home. Penn State, again, they would lose to anybody. They were crumbling yesterday. So I think we're still going to be fine against Northwestern. As for Penn State, yeah, I mean, there is a real opportunity. We walk into Happy Valley and beat them now with an interim head coach. I mean, they're going to crumble, right? They play Iowa next week. They could very well lose against the Hawkeyes. And then they play Indiana in Ohio State. I mean, literally, they might go 3-6. They might miss a bowl game at this rate. And Drew Aller's out for the season. I'm just telling you guys, who's going to stop Nebraska going forward? Who's going to stop Nebraska? USC is really the only tough team we got left on the schedule. We have the easiest schedule known to man. If we don't take advantage, I don't know what we're going to do. Because, listen, we could very well win out. We could literally go 11-1. And that's not because Nebraska's been playing great football. We haven't been playing great football, but that's just a testament to how easy of our schedule is. So Penn State we could definitely beat them. As for this game, I mean, this speaks volumes about UCLA. The fact that we only beat Michigan State by 11 points last week and then UCLA walks into their place and beats them by 25. I mean, UCLA, they're on an upward trajectory. I told you guys in the preseason I was worried about the UCLA game. I predicted a loss. Obviously, that's on the West Coast. I mean, they got a great quarterback, Nico Amalavi, who's finally breaking out. Jalen Berger had a good game yesterday. So UCLA, that's a tough ball game. I could very well see Nebraska lose in a trap game for sure against UCLA. So that'll definitely be a tough one. No question about it. USC knocked out Michigan. I believe USC probably is a better team than Michigan right now. Again, they got a better quarterback. They definitely have a better defense right now. They have one of the best receivers in America, Mekhi Lemon. Yeah, that USC game's going to be tough. That's going to be real tough, man. And they got tough running backs in both King Miller and Wayman Jordan, one of the best 1-2 punches in America. So they got a high-powered offense. They got an improved defense. It's going to be really, really hard for us to beat USC. We got to continue to improve, or else, we're just not going to beat them. We might get blown out. And then, of course, Indiana beat Oregon. I mean, it's just funny. That's funny to me how Nick Saban said the other day how the SEC is so much better. The SEC is so much better than the Big Ten. Yeah, we have the 2 best teams right now in college football in Indiana and Ohio State. And Oregon's still probably a top 5 team in the America as well. So, but credit to Kirk Cinetti, man, one of the best coaches in America. It's unfortunate we love to compare Matt Rhule, Kirk Cinetti, but Kirk's a different beast, man. He's a different animal. So credit to Indiana, man. I'm glad we don't play them. Iowa beat down Wisconsin. I wish we played Wisconsin this year. They are horrendous. They're going to fire Luke Fickell any day. They might fire Luke Fickell today or tomorrow. But Iowa, that'll definitely still be a tough game. I'm not really buying too much stock in Iowa. Again, Wisconsin's terrible. It doesn't really matter. They shut them out. They beat them bad. But still, I mean, Iowa's improving, and that's what Iowa always does. They always get better as the season progresses. So, worthy of talking about. Minnesota barely beat Purdue. We play Minnesota this week. Minnesota's probably not as good as what we thought initially. And then also, we got to shout out our friends over there at Cincinnati. They got Denver, Scott Frost in Central Florida. Again, I was wrong. I was wrong about Cincinnati. I told you guys I didn't think they're going to be very good. They're clearly pretty solid. So, again, the Cincinnati, like a 9-win team, probably not. But, again, they're taking care of business. They're not playing anybody good. I mean, the Big 12 is awful, right? But just like us, they're taking care of who they're playing against, right? You can't control who you play. You just got to win, and they're winning. So respect over to Cincinnati, and that's good for us. It's good for us if they succeed because it makes us look better in the long run. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below about everything. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments today. I absolutely want to hear what you say. Hit that like button and subscribe to the latest. Go be great, go Rhule, and I'll see you in the next one.